My dad died at a very young age. He had high blood pressure. My mother's side, she's generally very healthy, but maybe lack of nutrition at time, osteoporosis, right? Will I inherit these things, and do I need to then change my lifestyles? I wish I started earlier.
Welcome to Move the Needle podcast, where leaders, entrepreneurs, and everyday heroes reveal the real stories behind their health and fitness journey, the struggles, the turning points, and the lessons that help them amplify everything they pursue in life. Now, today's guest is someone that, well, I've seen her from decades ago when I first embarking on an entrepreneurship journey, tuning into BFM 89.9. And I'm so blessed that today she is sitting next to me. Now, join me in welcoming Freda Liu.
Hello.
During those years where you had so many interviews, radio shows back to back, how did you manage to keep up, and how did you sustain your energy?
Oh, okay. So in the early days when I was there at the station when it first started, so I actually look forward to Mondays. I look forward to every day because in that 4 hours, every hour we were interviewing different kinds of people, different topics, right? From business owners to personal growth to technology to how to run an organization. So, but I found it very exciting. I love the enthusiasm of talking to people, being curious and learning, right? So you just feel like I've had in one week, you've got 20 hours of learning, right? So, and that's how I managed to do 10,000 interviews because it's like 80 hours of intense learning. So yes, so that was very enjoyable. I think first of all, you're gonna love what you do, right? And that's important. And when you love what you do and you get to experience that, that's where you have the enthusiasm and energy. Yeah.
Right, so to sustain all of those, did you have any health and fitness routine back then?
Okay, I think it was around that time now when I started, right, that I realized that I wanted to make fitness a lifestyle, right? Not something that you do occasionally, or even people say, oh, you must try to exercise 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That strategy doesn't work for me. The moment you do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, come Tuesday, right? You have no energy. So I wanted to make exercise an everyday thing, even if it's just little things, right? So I remember I was like 38, 39 years old, and I was like, okay, I just need to make fitness a lifestyle, whether it's just 20 minutes a day, right? And that makes a difference to you. Before you go to work and you've got that energy, it makes a difference to how you show up, right? So I did boot camp initially. That was the early days. That was very intense, but I think I needed that. And you feel a good tired at the end of the day because you've worked out and all that. So that was important, and I wanted to make sure that every day. Right now, of course, I go to have my personal trainer, but I also go to another gym that's just 30 minutes. I walk, so every day I'm doing something. And I think that's very important. And it's not a thing that, should I do it? No, it is. It's got to be as important as eating. It's got to be as important as breathing, right? Because I'm already past 50, right? So you have, what kind of life will I have? And it's not about tomorrow. It's about 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I look at my family, right? I look at my family. My dad died at a very young age, before 60, right? He had high blood pressure. He had, in our family, he didn't have it, but the family history, we've got the cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, that package deal,
Yep.
right? And then my mother's side, she's generally very healthy, but maybe lack of nutrition at time, osteoporosis, right? Like how we don't have enough calcium, right? So I look at all these things, and then you have to say, okay, will I inherit these things, and do I need to then change my lifestyle so that I don't, as much as possible, try to avoid it, right? So I think if people were to just look at themselves, look at their grandmothers, look at their grandparents, look at their parents, and see what kind of signs they have. So the earlier you know about it, and I wish I started earlier.
Okay.
That's the thing.
So you mentioned that you wish you had started earlier. But then what was the misconception that you had?
No, okay, misconception. You have a baby, you have a child, you have work, you have all these things, right? Then you put this in the back, it's about other things, right? Rather than yourself. right? Not because you're selfish or whatever, you just don't think there's enough time, right? I find that if you don't do it first thing in the morning, it's very difficult to do it. That's me, right? Not for everybody, but I find that if you don't try to put exercise first thing in the morning, it's very difficult to do it later at night. It works for some, not for me, right? So I think also at the same time, know your body. So, but yes, I wish I started earlier and put some. Now we're not afraid to talk about self-love and self-care and all that, right? It is important. When you are healthy and fit and have the energy, you'll be able to take care of the people around you a lot better, right? Put the mask on yourself first before you put the mask on others. Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly the very same thing that we preach and move. It's the ripple effect that you have.
Yes.
Beyond the gym floor.
Yeah.
It's when you go back to your family.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine a stressed out mom versus a mom that fills her own cup.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you say that you started embarking on a fitness journey at the age of 38.
Yeah, 38, 39 kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Was there a darkest point or lowest point that you actually went through because you didn't just wake up like I'm ready?
Okay. The dark period. This is story. I think I was going through a marriage challenge at that point, right? And so it was two things. The first thing that was very important for me was spiritual. Okay, that was the first thing that I needed to sort out. My spiritual life. And the second thing was like, what can make you happy without drugs?
Okay.
right, and it's exercise, right? It's the healthy hormones, right? I mean, all the healthy chemicals come up when you exercise. So that's just, and then you just want to be able to do that. And so I started, then of course, then you start meeting different sets of friends who are also into fitness and everything, right? So if your usual kaki is not doing it, you have to meet you got to be in a different environment, right? So that was the reason as well. Like I wanted to just be, I know it's a healthy way to have the healthy chemicals kicking in and everything, and I just wanted to do that. So I think that was a turning point, but also just also realizing that it is then I registered myself. Okay, first 10K, let's just do this, right? And it was terrifying, right? Because you haven't moved your body in forever, right? So then to register, so there was a goal, like I had 7-8 months to go for a 10K. It was a big deal, so for someone who hasn't moved. So yeah, I think that was the point for me, just to feel good, right? Because when you exercise, you will feel good. You will feel more clear in your thoughts as well. Yeah.
So you did the 10K eventually?
I've done a full marathon, right?
Okay.
Ever since, right? I've done one full marathon. That was it. Literally got the T-shirt. That's it. Done a few half marathons. Done a lot of 10Ks and all that. But yeah, moving on to other things beyond running.
Right. So that will be strength training after.
Strength training. So I think that okay. So as one of the things is so important, right? And the older you get, and you of course I've been listening to all these podcasts as well, especially for women, right? At a certain age, we need to get our muscles up, right? Because we lose them much faster. You know all the stats. Everybody knows all the stats, right? So you've got to do these things to do strength training. So I find that I go for other places that I also exercise. But what happens with a personal trainer, right? It's a personal trainer will push you more than when you're by yourself, you won't push yourself. Okay, right? Oh, heavy. But with a personal trainer who knows your progress, they will push you more than you need to, and also watch your movements, right? Because I think that I can't afford to just if you just move if you are not what do you call it, positioned properly, right? You're going to hurt yourself, right? So it is important, strength training, the older we get. My mom at 86, 87, also just fell and broke her femur. That's it. She didn't, there wasn't, she just stood there, her legs gave way and broke her femur, right? And this is all because no strength, right? So you're looking at this and say, okay, this can be my future or not, right? So again, be aware of these things, and women, you really need to do a lot more. You've got your hormones, women going through perimenopause and menopause. All these things have an effect on your body. So the more you know about it, the more you do something about it. It's just an insurance for yourself, right? And it not for the vanity reasons, right? For of course, some people want six pack. Never mind the six pack. what is your life going to be like when you're 60, when you're 70, when you're 80, right? Do you continue to be fit, right? No point living a long life and it's not quality of life, right? And you're not mobile and you're not all these things. So when I see these things, right, it it concerns me. Yeah.
Right. So now you've been doing strength training for a while now. You went from doing some kind of strength training, you sign up at the gym,
Yeah.
to now you're doing it with a PT.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of strength training method actually works for you?
Everything, right? I think you just got to work on your overall body, right? So whether it's your arms or your legs or whatever, like I said, like don't like doing squats, but it has to be done, right? I know that I can push myself further, but on my own, I won't until pushed by a personal trainer.
All right. And I heard that recently you are lifting heavier than before.
Heavier than before, I tell you. Yeah. So I hate that too.
Do you know any numbers, kilograms?
I think what, 40, maybe 40 kilos
right.
right now. I just try not to find what, no, don't tell me. I do the plank and he puts 1 minute plank, he puts 15 kilos on my back, that kind of thing. And then, right? Things that you don't normally like to do and you just can't, okay, the hour is up. I'm telling the personal trainer, I think time's up.
All right. So that's the training part, and I'm glad that you're progressing to heavier weights. And I believe there's a lot more in store for you.
Yeah.
What about your nutrition? It's the toughest one for most people.
That's a tough one. So nutrition, as usual, of course, personal trainer tells you get your protein powder, which I do take, right? And then I guess you're more conscious about the food that I eat, right? You're more conscious. Is this protein? Is this what? Before you don't really pay attention, and you need to. Yeah, so you have to be more conscious about it. So definitely with the protein powder, he's always asking me, "What are you taking? What are you taking?" And I can't remember, So I get these meal subscriptions, and I know what's in it because I live by my son, but I live by myself generally, and so I don't cook, right? So at least with this, I know what I'm eating, right? But even when I go out, I'm like, okay, chicken, that kind of thing, and make sure that you have your protein and all that. Yeah.
Has it been a challenge for you because I believe you go to a lot of social dining?
Yeah, no, it's difficult. Oh my goodness, it's difficult. It is difficult. But what do I do? I think it's worse during the Christmas Chinese New Year period. It's tapered down now. I mean, so I think it's worse then. So it's okay. I also like you also look at your week, right? If you know that you're gonna be like this for 2 nights, then the other days behave, right? I mean, then I still watch what you eat, right? But at the same time, I want to live. It's not something that I do every day. So you just learn to balance it with other days and then coming back. And so even when I go on holidays, right, I don't necessarily go to the gym, but I know I'm walking a lot, right, when you're on holiday. So then I won't say, I won't choose a hotel because there's a gym, but I know these trips you'll be walking a lot. Then when I come back, I'm back into it again, right? And I find that because you walk a lot during that period and then you're eating, you don't put on weight during that period, right? So, but the ability to come back and just get back into exercise again.
I think, when it comes to sustaining a health and fitness routine, right, eating right, the biggest challenge people have is the fact that they always beat themselves up over one meal.
Yes.
Over one event where they overate, they're like, oh, it's over. And then they just keep going down a downward spiral.
Yeah.
Which I believe, what you shared here is really, really amazing where, you don't just look at one day.
Yeah.
You look across the whole week.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so 2 days bad, okay, now the rest of the week behave, So I mean, you can,
Exactly.
right? So it's just knowing that this is Malaysia, how, right? So, but then also just monitoring what you're eating and all that.
It's all about moderation.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, a lot of people say it's all about moderation in everything. They end up having a whole week of
moderation. No,
right.
so it's tough. So like I try to have like one meal at home. Like tonight I'll have a meal at home. Then I'll have my my substitute meal. So I'm more conscious of what I eat, right? That kind of thing. Like just have lots of water, what have you. Yeah.
All right.
But move. Even like so for example, in the morning I didn't get to walk. This evening I'll walk because it won't be as hot, right? So you just and if you can walk a little bit in the daytime, then after dinner walk a little bit again, if you can't, because I've hurt my ankle, not because of you, from ages ago, from running actually. So like then I'll walk a little bit in the morning. I can, okay, hurts a little bit, go back, rest, then do a little bit in the evening, right? So, and it's good to exercise, have a little walk after you makan as well in the evening. So
Let's talk a little bit about your recovery, rest, and sleep. How do you do that? Do you think it's important? How do you, keep it going?
So sleep is important. I find that also when you are going through the perimenopause stage, right? My sleep was affected, right? So my sleep was affected, as in, I used to be able to sleep through the night, and then now I then woke to maybe 2 times. I don't have a problem going back to sleep, but I'll wake up, but I know my sleep is disrupted. So what I do then, of course, get yourself checked. As a woman, go and get yourself checked. Check on your hormones, check on all these things. There are solutions out there. There are solutions where you can get compounded supplements to help you, which is what I've done. So my sleep is so much better. I now sleep through the night. I have the privilege of being able to have a little, because I now work for myself, right? So on the days that I'm not out, like I will have a siesta. I will have a 30-minute siesta. I've trained myself to be able to sleep for 30 minutes, right? And just, I find that it helps me to keep going again. I know it's not a privilege for everybody, but again, so one of the things, get your energy checked. Even if even if you're in the office, right? Even having during the lunch hour, even having a little rest during the lunch hour, it makes a difference to your circadian rhythm, right? Mahathir has been doing that for years. So he has naps from years.
Yeah. Actually, there's a study called the Blue Zone study.
Yes.
They noticed that people actually just sleep randomly throughout the day.
Yeah.
The Japanese, the ones from Okinawa.
Now, right?
Right? It's like they don't say it has to be afternoon. They sleep whenever.
But
or nap.
Yeah, they nap. So the other thing was so very interesting from the Blue Zone, right? So I've been listening to a couple of podcasts around that. So around the Blue Zone, so you can't really say it's the diet, because the Greek diet and the Japanese diet is different, right? Although the food is healthy, right? So the other thing that's really important is your friendships. It's a community, right? So like, it's nice, like if you have your fitness kaki, I have a bunch of friends that I can go walking with as well. So having that community of people is also important.
And one more thing is living with purpose.
Yes,
Ikigai.
yes.
And for the longest time, I think you've been enjoying what you're doing.
Yes, yes. And now my purpose is go on holidays as much as possible.
Right, and also hosting your podcast for the shift.
Yes, yeah. So doing the podcast with Shift, and then I've been talking about writing my next book for the last 2 years. I haven't acted on it, so that is also. But also sometimes it is important to rest and reflect on what you want to do next. I mean, I feel that I sit on a board, so there are a lot of things that I've managed to achieve, and sometimes it's about. If you want to continue that journey, you've got to be as healthy as possible. You've got to be as fit as possible, right? So it's when you strive, but you don't have your foundation of your health, nothing can happen, right? So I think that is a very important factor.
And then when you are able to contribute more because you're healthy, then that thing give you purpose and meaning back.
Right. And something you said earlier on, right? Energy. Right, your energy is so important, right? When you meet people, when you do things, right? And this energy comes from working out, right? This energy comes from being as healthy as you can. Then you have the energy, right? You know how people, this kind of weather also is kind of hot, right? But that energy comes from keeping yourself as fit as possible.
You know, the part where you say you are taking the compounded supplements.
Yes.
Right. I was just very curious.
Yeah.
What was inside that helped a lot with your perimenopause?
Okay, so with the compounded supplements, is what they do is they get I'll give you my doctor's details. They get a blood test, right? The blood test, then she checks for certain things, your thyroid, your and I think from thyroid that's where you know your progesterone levels, your estrogen levels, your testosterone levels, right? And each body is different. Every body is different. So then it's compounded to suit what my body needs, right? So somebody next to me, the levels could not be as high or may not be as low. So when it's compounded to see what your body needs. And as you're going through perimenopause, the hormones change a lot more before it stabilizes. So you probably need to check yourself every 6 months to a year because the hormones are going crazy at that time. So just get yourself checked. So then it gets the compounding supplements get changed to suit you as you're going through that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had one of those and it's not cheap.
It's not.
Right? It's not cheap.
It's not.
Right. But then it's worth the money because you are taking what works for you.
Yes. Right. So it's not. Again, maybe you take what are the most crucial for you at the moment, right? They can tell you the sun and the moon and everything, but there are a couple of things that maybe you feel that are crucial for you. I always say, what if you can't, then how is your life affected if you can't, right? If you end up getting ill down the road because you didn't have this, then that is the cost of it, right? I know it's very difficult because it's not. You're right. It's not. There are some that you can take off the shelf, right? You can buy them off the shelf, probably a lot more affordable, right? You have that, but it may not be compounded to suit you. So no right or wrong. I'm not a doctor in that sense. I'm privileged that I'm able to find out things. But these are things that I started checking on myself, right? Health or overall health was when you reach a certain age and your body starts changing again. I was showering, I was like, why is there so much hair coming out? That kind of thing. So these were the things that got me on the journey to check myself.
So now let's go back to health and fitness now, where we've approached the very final part of our interview here.
Okay.
Now, if there was someone sitting here watching, listening to you,
Right.
and they are just struggling to get started, they perhaps say that, look, I'm having menopause, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too, unfit. What would you say to them?
I'm fit. They say I'm fit. Okay. Good for you if you're fit, right? I mean, I'm just hoping that everybody really, pun intended, just move, right? Just really. Sometimes it's as simple as just going for a walk in the morning. There's an advantage just taking a walk outside, getting some sun, being in nature. If you can't start with, like I always say, even 10 minutes, right? And then you'll realize that 10 minutes is no big deal, and then you'll do more, right? But it is important to stay fit. It is important to not just look at your life. What you do today is an investment for what your life will be in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. So I look at photos of myself 15 years ago, right? And just energy, just looking at it, right? Not even just like weight or whatever, but just how I looked. My whole demeanor, right, has changed, right? And I think I feel more vibrant now, 15 years on, than I did 15 years ago, right? So that's an investment, right? And we're all going to be, God willing, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old. How will your life be, right? And being fit right now is an investment in yourself, right? It's an investment in yourself. I can't say anything more, right? You want to be able to move. You want to be, so I look at people who are older. Sometimes you go on Instagram and you see these 80-year-olds doing marathons and what have you, right? So you look at these people for inspiration. And sometimes no need to look so far. You just look at Jennifer Lopez. That is inspiration. She's always a year older than me and say, next year I'll be like you. Next year I'll be like you.
And forever she's setting the bar higher and higher.
Yeah, higher and higher. My God. Okay, anyway, but yeah. But jokes aside, right? It is about investment in your future, right? Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Freda, for sharing so openly about your struggles
Yeah.
and also your milestones that you achieve in your health and fitness.
Yeah.
It has been a blessing for me to be sitting here with you.
Thank
Talking
you.
about health and fitness, I think is so cool.
It is.
People know you as a great radio host, MC, right, entrepreneurs, business leaders, but then now hearing from you, the side of Freda, I think I believe this podcast here will inspire many people out there, especially women who are struggling to get started, women who are thinking having this midlife menopause
Yeah.
is slowing them down. I think I believe this is something where it can really inspire you to finally take the action. All right, that's all for today. Thank you so much, Freda, for
Thank you. Thank you.
sharing.
Energy.